Welcome to the show with no name for Friday the 13th. This is September the 13th, 2013, so it's Friday the 13th in the 13th year of the new millennium. Whoa!
Wow.
Wow.
Either good things or bad things got to happen.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jim. Unlike every other day.
Well, we're not expecting anything bad to happen here, but we're not taking our chances. We're doing the show from the side porch and not the backyard. Okay, this is the show with no name. And I'm,
Bob Going.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I forgot. I got to wait. I'm Bob Going. Over here is Jim Nikosha. And this, of course, is Gavin Murdoch.
Oh.
Well, let's see. You guys all going to the opening of the Labyrinth tomorrow at the in GAR Park next to City Hall?
I can't go. I don't want to get dizzy walking around that thing.
I have to work, but you might get lost in that thing, though. I mean, it's pretty extensive.
I know. I saw the picture. It's. I don't want to stumble over the stones.
Okay. Well, you want to talk about the mural anymore, or is that beat to death? Seems the mayor can't stop talking about it. If you read their Facebook stuff.
Yeah.
Did you read Carl Baez's? Oh yes, you did. I saw that.
I posted it.
Yeah,
did you read it before you posted it?
I did.
Did you?
I did. I thought he made some good points.
Yes, he did. You know what? Now that building, there was the fellow that owns the building next door, and I'm not sure which one, wanted to buy that building.
Yeah.
He put a bid in for 22 grand.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor heard about it. This is a story I heard.
Well, I'm sure it's true.
The mayor heard about it, and she went after Ada to buy the building, so this guy didn't get it.
Right.
So now she's complaining that Ada's got it.
I think she's complaining they're trying to sell it. They overpaid for it by a long shot.
They put $400,000 into it already.
I guess the money went to United Way. It was a way of, right? United Way, didn't the United Way own the building?
Yeah.
So the United Way got twice what the building was worth. Right? They paid, what, $45,000 for it?
No,
right?
I understand they paid the same as this guy bid. That's what I understand now.
Oh, okay. I thought they put 45 into it.
Well, it could be, but
well,
besides the point, it would have been a private industry.
That was a fair price for the building because that's what the building's on Main Street. One of my realtor people said that the buildings on Main Street have been going between 20 and 40.
The one building went for 11 something.
Yeah.
Now, I may have missed it. I missed many things in my life, but has there ever been anybody, except for people who've actually gone there, have we ever seen a picture of this? Has there been a picture in the newspaper in the mural?
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed
It
it.
wasn't a good picture. It wasn't a good picture.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed it then. I apologize.
There was a bunch of pictures I think that Van Hassel took, if I'm not mistaken, that were posted probably on the Historic Amsterdam page. I'm
Okay,
not positive.
I missed it then. Okay.
But I know I copied them and sent them to Bruce in California because he hadn't seen them in many years. Bruce Conover,
Okay.
whose family used to own the mural.
So it's his fault.
I'm really surprised when they sold the business they didn't take the mural with them.
Yeah, I mean, historical value. It's too bad he's lost the picture.
The cost of the rest, according to Carl Baez's column, the mayor had no qualifications whatsoever to claim that it would cost $18,000 to restore it.
Well, that was something off the top of her head.
Well, that's what he suggested, and he says the real price is going to come next week, and so they obviously already know that it's going to be a lot more than that, which is more than the building
is worth.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, it's not more than the building's worth.
Okay,
now, because they just put $400,000 into it.
Well, I don't think they've actually put it into, but let's say whatever their source of taxpayers' funds they use to restore this building, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say the building is worth $30,000. We'll just take a round figure, okay? Which is about the average for Main Street. Building's worth $30,000. Let's say they put $100,000 into it. And if they put it on the market after they put $100,000 into it, what do you think they're going to get?
30,000.
30,000, or maybe 35, maybe 40.
That's why they should have sold it to this guy that he owns a building next door
And wanted to use it.
and wanted to use it.
Right. Instead, it's vacant while they talk about
Yeah,
it.
he would have paid taxes on it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand.
I mean, Ada wouldn't even own this building if the mayor hadn't insisted that they buy it. And
Exactly.
then she yells at them for being uncooperative.
And now she wants to change the board.
And it happens that two members of the Ada board are running for alderman against two of her candidates. You know.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Well, I wouldn't even have brought it up if she hadn't brought it up. She mentioned on her blog or on Historic Amsterdam, I guess it was in Historic Amsterdam League because I objected to it, that she pointed out that really important people like Deborah Barinello are running against the evil people who are trying to get rid of this mural, and I said, come on, you talk politics anywhere you want, but the Historic Amsterdam League page is for about historic Amsterdam stuff, not about who gets a leg up in which political election. I think that was a terribly bad thing for her to do, and then she defended it after I mildly criticized it. I don't know. Maybe she's sensitive. Maybe she thinks I'm a big Ron Barone supporter. Or because she doesn't read the papers or listen to our show.
You just simply disagree with her.
Is she still out of town today?
Isn't she in Utica?
She was at the Conference of Mayors or something? Or?
Yeah, the economic development thing up in Syracuse or
Utica.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Which she's been on that committee for how long? And we haven't.
How's that working out for
we
us?
haven't gotten
Well,
anything yet.
they rededicated Riverlink Park.
Okay.
I was there.
Okay. That's
I
right.
saw it happen. I still haven't edited that video. That's probably what screwed up my camera this morning.
Got too much on it.
There was too much Paul Tonko on there.
Yeah, that could screw things up.
I can't wait to check this afterwards and see if after it tried to restore everything, whether it screwed everything up.
Well,
I got a lot of stuff. I've still got some footage of Misha on there.
archived it, huh?
Yeah, they were back down at the Irish American Club 2 years ago.
Oh, after the flood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's a long time
Hey,
ago.
you got an announcement you want to make here? Or
Oh,
a little commercial?
there's not. Yeah, we've been approached to.
Is it a paid commercial or is it?
No, this is it's not,
we meaning the show with no name?
the show with no name, by a firm to run a series of spots over the next few weeks, and they're kind of in line with what we feel and what we discuss on the show.
Well, okay, I'll decide whether I'm going to edit this,
Well,
or YouTube will decide for me. But
Well, I think they'll see the value of this, and they'll see the point of the whole thing, how it really
How it
reflects where we
relates
are,
to
what we do in our philosophy.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything happen to you? Did something happen to you? If so, you are entitled to a monetary settlement. You, as an American, are entitled by your birth to someone else's money. Have you ever eaten a jalapeno pepper and burned your mouth? If so, was there a warning on the pepper?
no.
Ever have a brain freeze from eating ice cream too fast? Was there a warning?
No. Oh.
If not, you are entitled to a monetary reward. The firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe will handle your case. We'll do everything to get you the money that you are entitled to and deserve. You are entitled to their money. Why should they have it? Call BR549 between 11:59 and 12:01 daily as our operators are standing by. If you lose, you still have to pay, or we'll sue you. After all, we're entitled to your money. Don't wait, call today. The preceding ad was placed by ambulance chasers and bear no resemblance to lawyers, though they did play ones on TV.
Hey, wait a minute. Okay, this whole thing is an attack on the legal profession, and
No,
I know what you said.
I kindly
And he-
dis-
I know what you
And he
said.
wants to sue you.
And I read through the lines, and let me tell you, I know where you live, and I can put a lien on your house in about 20 minutes.
I'll
Before
disagree.
the show's over, I can file a lis pendens.
Well, there's-
You notice I never say anything about lawyers when I'm here.
You know, and
I always wait
whoa,
till I get outside.
this firm are not lawyers, but if you listen to what comes out of Washington, and how they are certainly working towards the disposition of wealth,
Yeah.
taking someone else's money for those who have actually done nothing, accomplished nothing. And if you follow what is taking place with Obamacare, and I've had some firsthand
And Obama
experience with Obamacare
Really?
over the last couple of days, I can tell you that their view of this redistribution and the fact that he is purporting that this is for the middle class, well, I'm going to tell you,
No,
Obamacare here is are the groups, the people who are working and who have insurance through their various employers are the ones who are going to be paying for this. There is an exorbitant change coming to them, not only for the cost of their insurance up front, but also for other contributions and the managed health care that's coming out of this. No longer are you going to be able to, along with your primary care physician or your specialist, going to be the ones who are going to be able to determine what you need and when you need it. It is going to be determined by the health care insurance agents and companies who are going to be restricted by the government,
Right.
what you can do and what you can have. And I can tell you, it ain't pretty, because my experience has not been real good over the last couple of days with this. So we are very firmly standing opposed to what has taken place. We're also, in a comical way, referring to some of these ads that you do see on TV. And over the next several weeks, we're going to be seeing some more examples of what these are reflective of. It is reflective of those who have less, who are trying to specifically take it from somebody who has more, simply because they exist, simply because they're entitled, because they exist. And that's wrong.
It's theft. That's what it is. It's theft. And on top of which, it discourages people from working harder to be better off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it takes the incentive away to work.
All right.
But it's the
Something. Now, just say the other day, half the children born in America are now under Medicaid. The Medicaid pays for half the births in America. Half. Now, come on. What's the poverty level in this?
it's not 50%.
No, the poverty level always remains the same because they define it as a percentage of what everybody else is making.
Right.
So what's poor here is rich somewhere else. But that's incredible. Calvin Coolidge said it in 6 words: "The normal must care for themselves." Yeah, 6 words. I got stuck last week on.
But it's true, and in talking with my healthcare provider, he said this is not the first time I've seen this. He said, nor shall it be the last, because this is what things are going to.
And I've talked to doctors who are leaving the profession. They said that's it. As soon as this goes in, we're out. There's no point.
Nope.
And of course, in addition to all that, the mandates in Obamacare, you must, if you have an insurance policy, it must provide for this, and this, giving everybody what they call a Cadillac insurance policy. Everything is covered. Results in huge numbers of businesses, institutions, colleges, UPS, all these eliminating the health insurance as a benefit because they can't afford to do it, because the cost of the health insurance, because it includes everything, is so high that nobody can afford to pay it.
You are correct.
Or they will cut
and
their employees
right.
down to 30 hours a week.
And who are these people that are
Exactly.
going to suffer? It's the people in
voted
the
for Obama.
genuinely middle class
Right.
parameters that are going to see either through the increased cost of the insurance itself, increased cost of deductibles that you have to pay, the increase in the copay of what you have, and
Right.
the limitation and the length of time it's going to take to receive services, because they're going to have to be all approved.
Right.
And I haven't seen it in black and white, but I know there's scuttlebutt out there. And what's going to happen is, depending upon your age, what services are going to allow to take place and what's not.
That's right.
Because you may be too old for them to see a long-term benefit from the procedure you're going to have, because you're going to die anyways. All right? And they aren't going to pay that kind of money. And if you don't...
And just when I collected my first Social Security check. Boy.
Hey, you know, I would think you'd want to cash that right away, because you don't know if it's going to be good for much longer.
Yeah, it was a direct deposit.
Oh, okay.
Of course, they'll probably confiscate my bank account.
Right, to take it out, yeah.
That's a benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right
it's
on a
gonna
benefit check.
it's gonna be tough, you know. So what do you think of the dance the president's done for the last week and a half?
He did some fancy dancing.
I
Oh.
don't know anybody.
Bojangles would be impressed.
I don't know anybody who was who thought much of his ultimate speech there. What was the point of it? What was the point? First of all, he uses it, of course, to blame Bush again. Everything. This is not like Iraq.
He tried to.
Well, okay, that's right. Iraq was, you know, a little further longitudinally away. But they had the same party, Ba'ath Party, the Baath party, dictator. In one case it's Saddam Hussein, in the other case it's Assad, right? They had the chemical weapons that and used them, right? You know, there's no question Saddam Hussein used them. No, there is a question whether Assad did, but
that's irrelevant. It doesn't
That's irrelevant
matter
to the discussion, because let's assume, for his purposes, they did. So what is the difference? What he condemned of George Bush, he's now saying we have to do this, and we have to go in alone, even though everybody's supporting us. Even though George Bush went in, both George Bushes went in with huge coalitions of nations behind them. The first one had like 118 nations when they invaded Kuwait. This one had and then the second George Bush had like 45. None of which is small potatoes, okay? And both of them had United Nations resolutions behind them, sanctions and sanctioned by the Congress of the United States. This guy figures he can go in on his own without congressional approval, without any international stuff, when there's no threat to the United States itself. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand it at all. You can say what you want whether the second Iraq invasion was a good idea or a bad idea in the long run or the short run. There's no question that it was done under legal authority, based on Saddam Hussein's clear violations of the treaty that ended the first Gulf War. A treaty that everybody, all these other nations were parties
signed on to. Yep.
So, whether it was smart or not smart, that's for history to decide, I suppose. But or we could, because we're the show with no name. But for Obama to get up and say, "Well, this is a lot worse than that," well, that's nonsense. This is nonsense.
And I think he got kind of caught, because he had already planned to do this, and then all the intrigue with Russia and Syria came about, and now he's really floundering because he doesn't know what his point is anymore.
We never, but that's part of the problem. I think just about all the commentators, even the Obama supporters, are saying, "Wait a minute, what is his policy? What is his foreign policy? What is the point?" I mean, when the Secretary of State gets up and says, "Oh, this is just going to be a little teeny weeny little thing,"
okay, so that's worthless. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what are you doing? What is the mission? What are you attempting to accomplish? If it's not regime overthrow, then what the hell are you doing? I mean, you either got to go in all out or not at all. Otherwise, all you're doing is killing people for no obvious purpose.
But he's punishing them because that was beyond what had taken place.
That's what the United Nations is for. Of course, this is also an internal matter of the people of Syria. There's how many freaking factions there? There's 3 different hate each other religious groups and all kinds of other cross-border coalitions.
You got Sunnis, you got Shiites.
And there's a third one, that the Malachites or something. I don't know what they're called. There's a third. They're not the Malachites.
Well, you are correct. There are so many factions. It's not clear cut. Okay, one group against
meanwhile,
another.
They all go in and kill the Christians whenever
that's right. Whichever side they're on. So
they went in the other day into a village that is like the oldest continuously operated Christian community in the world. They still speak Aramaic. They still speak Jesus Aramaic in this village. Okay, and it's been Christian since there were Christians. In fact, Syria was the first place the word Christian came into being, I believe. The first time it was used was in Syria, and those, the descendants of those people are still there, and they just go in and they, kill all the nuns and all the
massacre everybody.
And what does the great Barack Obama have to say about it? Well, absolutely nothing, because these are the people he's supporting. It wasn't the government. It wasn't Assad's government. It was his Al Qaeda wannabes that go in there and killing all the Christians. Well, that's irrelevant,
And
it's terrible that anyone. Rand Paul was criticized for having mentioned that the other day, that these people are killing Christians. Oh, well, some of these commentators were outraged that he would even bring it up. Why should we protect Christians? It's not like we're a Christian country.
But they also were not killed by gas. They're killed by bullets, which makes a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, it's different. So obviously, he views it different because they've been killing each other in the Civil War for going on 2 years plus, and that's okay. Now, a vehicle for the use in the war changes, and that makes a difference. But it still should make a difference because it's already been done. Okay. But apparently it hasn't, because he's backtracking and going to sit and see what Russia does. However quickly that may or may not take place. I think he got outfoxed.
Oh,
definitely.
There's no question about that.
Outfoxed by a bear.
Putin comes out looking like
statesmanship.
And it was all because Kerry made another stupid remark. Well, I'll give them 1 week to get rid of their. He draws yet another line in the sand that they're not going to. And Putin walks right in and says, "Okay, Assad, are you okay with that?" "Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah,
we'll get rid of them." Yeah. Of course, who's going to end up with them when he gets rid of them?
Well, they're probably going to end up in Russia. But there's many a slip twixt cup and lip, as Bob Conover used to tell me. But isn't it great how I segued into that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he did. He did say that. And the technological problems of finding what they got, monitoring it, getting rid of it. I guess it's very difficult to store and destroy.
They said to 4 years. Is that what the one quote was on TV? Taking 4 years to get rid of them.
Take 4 years to collect them all.
So you're going to put everything else on hold while we go in and do this.
And they got to build a big oven to destroy them.
You know what? What difference does it make how long it takes? If they agree to it, everybody. Yeah, and they have. They've agreed to it. So if it takes 4 years, it takes 4 years. Meanwhile,
the war goes on.
Meanwhile, obviously, they're not going to go using the stuff because they've already agreed now. They've agreed to sign the treaty not to use them. Okay, isn't that wasn't that your objective? No, my objective is to punish them. My objective is to drop some bombs and look like I'm doing something. You know? Oh, come on. This is, I'll tell you, there's no, left-wing Democrats just blunder us into wars. It's just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And then, but what's your objective? Well, you know, look, Korea, what's your objective? I don't know.
Son Dennis Rodman. See, Rodman's going to write a book.
Who is?
Dennis Rodman's going to write a book about
his experiences in Korea?
Oh, it's going to be like a biography with his buddy.
Oh.
He's going to spend a month with him. And,
wait, the guy who just killed his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Because he didn't like their music anymore?
Yeah,
or something?
that's the guy. Yeah, well, he's going to be his biographer. Because he's a good guy. I mean, he's a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, he likes the NBA. I mean, what more do you have to say?
As did his father. Remember Madeleine Albright brought his father a signed basketball from whoever the world champions were at that time. Well, it was Rodman, right? Wasn't it the Bulls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he. You know, and that's all it's going to take. You get to know the guy, you're going to have a different perspective.
Michael Jordan underwear?
I don't know.
Do you want to know?
I don't know. But I'm sure Putin's wearing his Super Bowl ring.
Either that or Eleanor DeGeneres' underwear.
So Putin emerges as the
statesman,
as the leading authority in the Middle East now.
He's the big shot now.
We had spent decades bribing people and establishing quasi-alliances to exert our influence in the Middle East where all that oil is, right?
And he comes up
and to keep the peace between those nations and Israel, and just keep the gas lines flowing, and this idiot has blown it all in 5 years. I mean, it's just crazy, and just blundered. It's just simple, plain blundering, and I don't think any rational person can say it's anything other than that. There is nobody in charge of our foreign policy that has any idea what they're doing right now. Kerry should be out the door.
He shouldn't have been He shouldn't have been allowed to get in the door to start with.
I mean, there must. Of course, it's not like Bill Clinton had all. Madeleine Albright was a blithering idiot. But there's got to be some old pro they could bring back from previous Democratic administrations or something who at least has some concept of how this stuff works. But I think they're all dead, all the old ones.
Obama tipped his hand and showed how inexperienced and his lack of knowledge of diplomacy when he met with Putin several years ago and said, hey, when I get reelected, I'll have more wiggle room.
Yeah.
That was
right.
the sign to Putin that, you know what, I got this guy.
Right.
I can craft a policy that he's going to step in the middle of it, and I'm going to have and achieve in a very short period of time what we spent 40 years trying to achieve. And he's done it. Obama has taken the bait. He's taken hook, line, and sinker, and now they're hauling him in the boat to weigh him. That's what they're doing. And once you get in that position, there's no way to get out of it. For years the Russians were kind of taking the bait, and we got them. Right. Here, our guy just saw the lure the first time and took it.
I mean, since the fall of the Soviet Union, brought about by yourself.
Thank you.
I don't think there's any
among others, but a leading role.
About that. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, there were some remarkable agreements between our countries. A lot of the nuclear weapons were broken down, and we ended up with storing a lot of the uranium and plutonium, whatever they're using these days. What are they using? I don't know. I haven't made an atomic bomb.
No, I haven't either. Jim?
Wait a minute. I have never made an atomic bomb. I want to make that clear in case the NSA is listening. Jeepers.
I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they are.
We're just kidding, huh?
Yeah, it's a good thing it's not transmitting live at the moment. I can still edit this out. Maybe.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe there's still a track of it someplace. Ooh, it's getting dark, isn't it?
Yeah. But we did. You're right. We had a lot of great work with the with the Russians, and collaboratively and diplomatically, we've been able to do some things, and it's changed the whole tenor.
They had intelligent people in the State Department years back, but the ones they have now, I'm not a politician. Well, yes, everybody tells me I'm a politician, but I think I could do as well a job as they're doing, and I know nothing about.
I've negotiated with the DPW union. I think I could go in and do a better job.
But I think
now,
the immediacy of what we've had to do with the Russians over the last 20 years has taken a step back, and therefore the skill craft has been lost. If you haven't been using these skills, they can be gone, and it's difficult to get them back. During the time of the Cold War, everybody was honed to a fine edge because this was the battle.
Right.
And unfortunately, when the enemy changed and it shifted to the Middle East, we had no assets to deal with it, and we still don't, despite the importance of what we're trying to accomplish.
All we've done is mess up the Middle East since this guy's been president. In the long run, stability is pretty important.
Yeah.
And when you mess up the stability, it better be for a real good reason. Now, here's another thought. Now, obviously, during the Cold War, we had a great rivalry with the Russian Bear, and they had 100 divisions ready to race over Western Europe at the drop of a hat and all that stuff. Do we really need to have them be our enemy at this point? Or is the fact that Putin is such a strong leader good enough reason to form more of an alliance with him than an enmity? Are we really worse off if he's running the Middle East? I don't see the Russians supporting the elimination of the state of Israel anytime soon. They've always been playing with the players on the Arab side, but are they going to say, okay, let's everybody attack Israel today? I don't think so.
No, but I think Putin's wise enough to recognize your strongest words are the words you don't say.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say more than is necessary, and doesn't tip his hand any more than he needs to. I think in our diplomatic corps and our foreign relations now, we just throw everything out on the table, and we've got nothing in reserve to deal with. Everybody sees what we're trying to do, how we're trying to do it. Sometimes openness is not always the best policy in the long run, and a lot of the things that you're trying to do. As a lawyer, you don't put all your cards on the table to start with. You have to hold something back for negotiating. You have to have some alternatives you can offer.
But ultimately, what is the goal? The goal of Russia these days is not worldwide communist domination. Their goal these days is to make money like everybody else. And if it requires oligarchies controlling the oil industry, they'll do whatever it takes. But what in the world do we need to be having people fighting and dying in the Middle East for anymore? What is the point?
See, you made the point already. Russia has a goal of what they're trying to accomplish. We don't have a goal.
Right.
And if we think we do have a goal there, certainly the steps that need to be taken to achieve that are not there.
Right.
It's like a CYO basketball team playing against a varsity basketball team. Not only is there a difference in size, but there's a difference in skill set and a difference in understanding and comprehension of what you're trying to do. And we have a bunch of amateurs playing with a bunch of professionals, and we're getting hosed.
It's not even CYO, it's YMCA Church League.
Right, there, one step below CYO.
I'm just kidding.
But you remember, CYO was only up to 8th grade. The church league was high school.
Did they go into high school?
Oh yeah, they sure did. They were high school kids.
Wow.
That non-varsity players played in the church league. You know, CYO only up to 8th grade. But everybody played in the city leagues.
Well, that's true.
You know, and you see it in the paper today. They're bringing back the city league. They're going to have
basketball leagues?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
The summer basketball?
No, no,
Or
winter.
basketball?
Winter basketball. They're looking to have kids form teams or sign up to play as high school age kids in this league, boys and girls.
Good.
Yeah, that was in the paper this morning. So
So there you go.
what a great set we have here.
Okay, so anyway, here's what I want to do. I'm the president. Kind of almost quietly, the Russians have been preparing plans to bridge the Bering Strait with a railroad, and in such a way as to utilize the different gauges of the two countries. It's kind of a clever way of having a double or quadruple track that will run the cars of both countries.
Both countries.
This will require, bridge tunnel over the Bering Strait, and it will require probably 1,000 miles of new track through Alaska and Siberia. But if they do that, think about this. You could get on the train, theoretically, in Grand Central Station and go to London.
Yep.
At the same time, I think the Russians and Japanese have already bridged or planning on bridging the area between Kuril Islands or whatever, and Vladivostok, and so that Japan will be hooked by rail to mainland Asia. All right, so. All the goods from Japan, and for that matter from China, can shoot through Siberia, through Alaska, into the United States, among other places. I think that we're talking several $billion project. What's a several $billion project in today's economy? It's nothing. It's probably what they would spend on the fast rail from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, right?
Which would be heavily traveled.
But this is what we should be doing. We should be building bridges and tunnels and canals and encouraging trade and helping everybody be better off, not worse off. That's what we should be devoting our time to, not deciding which terrorist group we're going to support this week to overthrow which government. That's utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. I think he's got a few too many of these Muslim Brotherhood advisors, both in his cabinet and the State Department, for his own good. And these are the people he's listening to. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Oh, you will. You'll get it.
Eisenhower comes in, and what's he talking? He talks about the Atoms for Peace program. He talks, building the interstate highway system. All that stuff. Here's maybe our greatest general of World War II comes in. He doesn't talk about fighting wars. He's talking about making the world a better place.
But he understands logistics.
That's
he
right.
understands
That's right.
the process.
And the diplomacy.
And that's right. And he can see benefits as a result of what real benefits to the country, not perceived benefits. Not making things easier. People went to work and bettered themselves,
Right.
and contributed to the nation. They did not sit there and wait for the mailman to come once a month.
Right. Right.
And that's the difference. Did what Eisenhower do, did that redistribute wealth? Yes, it did. People earned, people spent, people passed it on, people earned, people used. That spread it around. It did not dip into and take out of. And that's the difference. You
know how the state, this is a little bit of a moving in a different direction, but I was just seeing this morning that these oil and gas exploration companies are pulling out of New York. They're giving up
Their leases.
They're giving up their leases because they're sick and tired of waiting for the state of New York to approve the fracking for the natural gas. So Broome County, which is sitting on zillions of dollars worth of natural gas, is going to go undeveloped, while right across the border,
Yep.
where you in a place where you can't even see the border, right? There's no dotted line
Yeah.
running between Pennsylvania, southern New York, and northern Pennsylvania. Things are booming, and one of the poorest areas of the state of New York is getting no assistance whatsoever.
Is going to stay the poorest section of New York. Yeah. But you will see the border, because you're going to see all these things going on over there, and here it's going to be nothing. Over there it's going to be moving around and people high-rise, all this stuff, and over here it's going to be nothing. So you will actually see a border, and you're going to know where the state ends and where the other state begins.
It's funny. There are places where the border is really obvious if you're driving along country roads. And about 15 years ago, I was went hiking in Vermont one day, and I came back one of these back roads, I think towards Salem or someplace, and I did not have to see the Welcome to New York sign, because on the Vermont side of the border, where the taxes were lower, the houses were much nicer, and 30 feet down the same road, you looked like you were going in Tobacco Road. Seriously. And the only difference, there was no topographical difference, there was no available water difference or any of that stuff. The only difference is New York is overtaxed as compared to Vermont. Not that Vermont is particularly undertaxed, but it was a substantial difference. You can see the same thing in the Columbia County, Berkshire County border between Massachusetts and New York.
Yeah.
And they call it Taxachusetts for a reason.
Yeah.
But New York is still worse. How are we doing here?
10 of.
10 of 11?
Yeah.
We started on time, or
Yeah.
more or less?
A minute or so.
All right.
Yeah, did a good job.
Okay.
Yeah, so, that's too bad. That's too bad.
So I don't know what the answer is. We got 3.5 more years of the Obama administration coming up.
And it's going to be lamer and ducker.
Yeah. Now, the one advantage that I see in all this American incompetence is that, for the last umpty-ump years, the United States by default has had to be the leader of the world. And we end up sticking our noses in, resolving problems to keep things stable. Here comes the rain. We made the right decision. Now, this is forcing the other countries of the world to get along without us. And even though that may not be the best thing for the world,
they'll be getting along without us.
At least it's teaching them. It's like you used to say about the kids playing baseball of the Four Diamonds.
Yeah.
You had to go out there and work out your own problems.
Differences. That's right. Right. And
they're getting along without our leadership, but they're not getting along without our dollars.
But it's easier to get our dollars now because the dollar isn't worth what it used to be.
Remember how incompetent Jimmy Carter was during his administration that the Israelis and the Egyptians ignored the United States and made their own peace deal. Yeah.
And when we say leadership, it doesn't mean us just speaking. It means us to deliver what we speak about.
Right.
And we aren't able to do that. And partly because we don't know what we're speaking about.
Well, that's it. Who would trust this administration to do anything? I mean, 1 minute John Kerry's having an intimate dinner with Assad and their wives, and the next he's calling him the most brutal dictator since Hitler. And oh, come on, he's a punk. I'm talking about Assad. he hardly poses a threat to humanity that Hitler did.
No.
Hate Hitler.
We're got ourselves in a pickle, and I don't see us getting out unscathed. We're going to come out looking more foolish than we are now.
All right, I got another complete change of direction, but on your advice,
Oh, mine.
Your advice.
Yeah.
I was down at the library last week. They had their big book sale, and it was a terrific book sale. I mean, the hardcovers were $2 for $1, and the soft covers were $3 for $1. And they had a lot of good-sized hardcovers for sale for 50 cents. Let me tell you. One of which I picked up was Guadalcanal Diary, which you had recommended to me, and I had never read. And I managed to write my book without having read it. But what's interesting is, now that I've written my book and know quite a bit about the Battle of Guadalcanal, looking at this guy's first impressions from a boots-on-the-ground situation is really, what was his name? Tregascus, right?
Yeah.
Richard Tregascus. Ooh, it's really getting wet here.
Yeah.
Getting cold, too. He was like 26.
He was a young guy.
And he was 6'7", so he was a hell of a target. The Japs are shooting at him all the time. He's just a reporter, but he always had his notebook out, so they figured he was important. They kept shooting at him. I read a little bit about him. He was a Harvard guy, and he made the varsity swim team. Well, probably because he was already halfway across the pool
when he
jumped. He was in the water. But made the varsity swim team and beat out a guy for the last spot on the varsity swim team, John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Yeah, right.
And when Kennedy was president, he went to visit him in the White House. And it's, well, I see you're here again. I really never have forgiven you for it. He also wrote PT 109.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
which
that.
is why he was in the White House. Yeah.
But it was funny, too. He wrote Guadalcanal Diary really quickly after it was over. I mean,
it was still going on.
The war wasn't over, and people were already reading about this.
The battle wasn't over. He left in like October of 1943. The battle started in August. Okay. And he was there until late October.
And he was there 3 months.
The book was to the publisher by the end of November and published in December of 43. I mean, this was the battle for Guadalcanal lasted till February of 44, and so it's still going on when this book is published.
Wow.
But here's one of the things. You know, there's a story in my book about Lieutenant William Sampson from Amsterdam, who flew the first plane into what became Henderson Field on Guadalcanal. And the story the historians tell
Getting wet.
is, you guys want to move in closer? Or?
Yeah, that might be
You just move this table and move your chair closer.
I won't have to take a shower tonight.
Because I'm kind of okay at this level. All right. Okay, now we're bigger on the screen, but I think we still all fit. Good. Good. Are you all right?
I feel better.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The story the historians tell is that Sampson faked having plane trouble.
Engine trouble, right?
Right, and I mentioned in my book it's not clear whether he faked it himself or whether he was under orders from the guy whose plane he was flying, who was Admiral John McCain. He was McCain's. This is McCain,
Father.
the senator's grandfather, was an admiral in the World War II, and Sampson was his personal pilot. So he's out on patrol, supposedly. So I have mechanical problems. Can I land at Henderson Field? It's not what he called it, but so he got permission to land, and he brought supplies in, and he took a couple of wounded guys out. But that was a great morale booster for the Marines because their supply ships were gone. They had already pulled out. These guys, the 1st Marine Division, is there fighting with no backup. They had no air cover. So Sampson showing up was a big morale booster. Now, in Guadalcanal Diary, on that day, Tregaskis is going by boat from Guadalcanal to one of the other islands, and they're being attacked by a submarine or something like that, and they see this plane, and they're worried about it, and somebody says, well, don't worry, the PBY's supposed to come in today. And sure enough, that's what it is. It's our plane. It's Sampson's plane that he's talking about, and Sampson's plane. Now, those guys knew he was coming. So how much of this raises the whole question is if these guys out in the middle of the bay are aware that Sampson's making this unauthorized landing, they couldn't have been as big a secret as
as you've been led to believe.
Yeah. So that's
it's interesting. Yeah, it's a good book though.
It is a really good book, and it's vivid, and of course he. At the time he's writing it, he doesn't really have the big picture.
He's got the foxhole.
But you really get to appreciate that they're controlling like a 9 square mile area, which is a peanut area of this whole island. The Japanese have the free run of the rest of the island, and they're coming in at night, landing more, and you realize how tentative our victory was there. But once we got our planes in and got the air cover, the war turned on a dime right there. Anyway, that's our hour, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this has been the first hour of the show with no name. We'll be back with another hour shortly. And okay, so no, I have to finish by saying this is the show with no name.